This video provides an introduction to the ZoomGrants Funding Sources feature. In the next few minutes, we'll learn about the 4 basic steps of managing funding sources through ZoomGrants: setting up the funding sources, allocating funds to programs, allocating funds to applications, and using invoices and payments to track drawdown. We'll start by setting up the funding sources themselves. This happens at the account level. If you have a senior admin set up in your account, please note that only senior administrators can add funding sources. Once the Funding Sources feature has been turned on by ZoomGrants staff, you'll see a Funding Sources tab in your account level tabs at the top of your My Account page. Click the tab to start setting up your funding sources. Click here to add a new funding source. Enter your information in the fields. Click the magnifying glass to search data from the IRS for a specific EIN number or a word from the official name of the funding organization. When you found the organization, click the Select link to populate the funding source with that data. If you don't find the organization, close the search window and enter the data manually. You must complete a search before you can do manual data input. In the future, you can choose a previously used organization from the drop-down here. Finish entering the relevant information, then click the button at the bottom to create that funding source. After you've set up the actual funding sources, you'll need to complete the setup process in the program for which you'd like to use the Funding Sources feature. To do that, click into Program Setup for that program, then click into the Financial tab. From there, uncheck the Hide box in the Hide Funding Sources setting. When the Funding Sources feature is turned on, you have 2 options for the invoices that applicants can submit. In summary-style invoices, applicants have a single amount that's requested. In line item-style invoices, applicants can request money for specific line items laid out in their original application in the budget tables in the Budget tab. Keep in mind that the line item invoice is only available if you used the actual Budget tab to capture the applicant's budget information during the application period. If you requested budget information via a table in the Tables tab or a document upload in the Documents tab, the line items invoice will not be an option in this program. Now that we've set up the funding sources at the account level and chosen our settings at the program or RFP level, we can allocate funds to the program from the funding sources set up at the account level. In Program Setup, click into the Financial tab, then scroll down to the bottom of the page. There you'll see all of the open and available funding sources. To allocate funds to this program, enter a number in the proper field. After allocating funds to the program, we can allocate funds to each officially approved application within that program. Navigate to the program dashboard, then click the Funding Allocations tab. Please note this red message here, which reminds users that funds can only be allocated to applications that have an official decision of approved. And remember that the official decisions aren't visible to applicants until you've checked the notified box for that application, so your applicants will not be able to see that their application has been approved until you officially notify them. Allocate funds to each application, pulling from the funds allotted to the program from each funding source. You can refer to the trial decision if necessary. We'll calculate the running totals automatically, and the total allocated to each application becomes the official amount for that application. Once funds have been allocated to the individual applications and the applicants have been notified of the official decision, they can then begin submitting invoices. Depending on the invoice type that you selected during the initial funding sources setup, applicants will either input an overall amount requested or request funds for specific line items pulled from their original budget. When they're done, they'll submit their invoices to you. This is an example of a line item style invoice. The applicant has entered specific funding requests for line items associated with their original budget. Enter an approved amount for each of the applicable line items. Then scroll up and add a funding amount to indicate where that money will be pulled from. The funding amount should match the approved amount. When you're done, click the Add Payment link to create a payment that actually draws the funds down from the funds allocated to this application. Be sure to change the invoice status to whatever is applicable as well. For a program level view, click the Financial tab to see an overview of the invoices and payments. You can also export summarized data from the invoices and payments via the Custom Exports in the Data tab. Of course, we're always happy to help with any questions that you have, so please don't hesitate to contact your customer relationship manager or our tech support team. Have a great day, and thanks for watching!